Good afternoon. If you're new to the channel, my name is Nathan Kolk here in Wilmington, North Carolina at Parkway Subaru and online at meyouandsubaru.com. I had a customer recently request a video to compare the 2019 Outback and the 2019 Forester, so I'm out here to do that. I'm going to break it up into three different sections if you're looking for something particular. First, I'm going to go through the different specs and dimensions of the vehicles. Then I'm going to go to the design features that differentiate the two cars, and then the features. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So we have the Outback on the right and the Forester on the left. As I mentioned, we're going to start with the dimensions. So the Outback is 7.8 inches longer than the Forester. And that's going to be the first thing that most people notice. It is a little bit longer. It's interesting to note that some people do think the Forester is a larger car, but the Outback is definitely larger. And then if you look at the width, the Outback is 0.9 inches wider. And a lot of that you're going to notice inside the car in the seats. There is actually 1.3 more inches of hip room for the front driver and passenger. And that's going to give you another more sense of comfort. Though the Outback is 2 inches shorter, so the Forester is a taller vehicle, and that's also going to impact the legroom. So the Forester seat is going to sit up a little bit higher, and because it sits up higher, you actually have more legroom in the Forester, both in the front and in the passenger side. The Outback has a 3-inch longer wheelbase, and so that's going to impact the smoothness of the ride. Typically, the longer the wheelbase, the more comfortable the ride. The wheels themselves are actually 1/2 inch wider on the Outback versus the Forester. And then we're going to look at the cargo space. So there's a few accessories in the back of this Outback, but the important thing to note, whether the seats are up or down, the Outback has 2.5 cubic feet more space. So technically when the seats are down, there's 2.4 more cubic feet. When the seats are up, there's 2.5 more cubic feet. So let me show you that, and let me show you the Forester here. The lighting's not perfect, but you can get an idea of what they look like. And they both have this cargo net, or cargo cover included. That is there. The only other thing that I want to mention is the engine. While they both have 2.5 liter 4-cylinder boxer engines, the Forester is actually on the new Subaru Global platform, so despite them having the same engine, the Forester gets 7 more horsepower at 182 horsepower, while the Outback is at 175. Now we're going to move on to different design elements of both of the cars. So off the front you can see little differences in the grille, but one thing I'm going to point out is you come down here as the silver on the bottom of the Forester, where it's just black along the bottom of the Outback, and this continues around the side and on the back of the Forester as well. I'm going to keep on moving up here, and we can see they both do have fog lights, but these are LED fog lights on the Forester, where you have the halogen fog lights on the Outback. The headlights are the same. They both have LED steering responsive headlights with daytime running lights. Now we're going to compare the wheels. They are both 18-inch wheels. They just have a different design, 18-inch alloy wheels, so this is really a preference thing. While the wheels are the same size in diameter and circumference, the Outback wheels are a little bit wider than the Forester. So another difference is going to be in the mirror housing. You can see on the Forester you have this chrome mirror housing, and then on all the Outbacks you just have body colored. They both do have the turn signal indicators on the mirror housing, which is something that's available actually on the Premium as an upgrade on the Outback, and then the standard on the Limited and the Touring. Same thing over here on the Forester. They both do have chrome door handles, but we're going to come up to these roof rails, and you see on the Forester roof rails, they are raised and they have these chrome tie downs, which is neat if you're putting things on top of your car. And then the Outback is going to have the low profile chrome all the way along back. They're not raised, they're just on the body of the car. And then as I mentioned, you do have the chrome along the bottom of the Forester. We're going to move around back, and one thing you're going to notice in the difference is the tail lights. So these are the Forester tail lights, and these are the Outback tail lights. The Forester continues to have the chrome trim along the bottom on the back. So it's got the front, the back, and the sides. And now we're going to move inside the cars. As you come inside, in terms of design differences, the seats are a little bit different because on the Forester you have the option of a black leather and then a saddle brown leather. So these are obviously the black ones. And then I'm going to move over to the Outback. And the Outback only has a Java brown. Notice I said saddle brown and then Java brown. So there is a difference there. It's just slight. So the Outback once again has Java brown. The Forester has the option of black or saddle brown in the touring trim level. The only other note that I'm gonna point out in terms of design features is a wood grain trim that the Outback has. It starts actually in the back seats on the doors along the trim. It's got on the inside. It goes all the way across over to the other side. Let's see if you can see it in the back. Back there as well. Now we're inside the car and I want to show you some of the features that are different between the Outback and the Forester. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the auto start stop function, which is a feature of only the Forester. So there's the A with the circle around it. And that is where you would turn it off. You're either going to love this feature or you're going to hate it. What it does is it will turn off the car when you come to a stop, and it will start calculating how much fuel you're saving. So you can see how long the auto start stop has been active and how much fuel it saved you in there. So that is one thing that the Forester has. Another thing I'm going to show you while we're in this view is this driver focus system. So there's two cameras in here, or there's a camera in this top portion that looks at you when you get in your car, and it actually remembers your seat position, your mirror position, and your phone connection. So that's a really neat feature. But while we're up there, you also have this multifunction display, which you can change by pressing the info button on the left side of the steering wheel. And there's a lot of neat information in there. Some of this information is still available on the Outback, but it is just going to show up to you in this center display here. Another feature that the Forester has is the auto vehicle hold. So this AVH, and what that does when you come to a stop, it will put the brake on the Forester for you, and you can take your foot off of it so that you can rest your foot. And then you hit the gas pedal and it automatically releases. So that is a neat feature. You'll notice the climate control settings are a little bit different. The Outbacks are a little bit more sleek, I think. This has the normal dials, where you can see the Outbacks look a little bit better. Another difference is going to be the sunroof or moonroof. So you can see here how large this one is. It goes way back almost to the second row. And you can see here that the Outback's is much smaller. So there's only a couple more things I need to show you. One is this X mode. So on the Forester you have a dual X mode. The Outback does have X mode, but with here you have a snow and dirt mode, which is like the regular X mode. And then you have a deep snow and mud, which is for just that deeper snow and mud. It also turns off the traction control when you put on deep snow and mud and you push it for normal. Another feature that the Forester has that the Outback does not at this point is a vertical adjustment for the passenger seat. So this lever here, if you push it up, it raises the seat and lowers the seat. This is actually the only vehicle in the entire Subaru lineup that has this. Not even the Touring Ascent has a vertical adjustment for the passenger seat. And of course the other, you can lean it forward and back, and then you can tilt the front end of it up and down and push it backwards and forwards. The other thing that I'll show you is the power rear gate. The Forester's is much quicker. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And then we'll come over to the Outback. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe 6.5 seconds. So it's not much quicker, but one of the biggest differences is you can see these arms on the Outback are pretty thin. And if you were to try to manually shut this, you're gonna mess with the motors, and it kind of gets confused and it doesn't know what's going on and just stops. Whereas if we come back over to the Forester, it has a little bit smarter system, beefier arms. And if you don't know that it has a power rear gate and you try and pull on it, it just continues to go. So that's a nice, neat feature to have as well. So in summary, the Forester, because it is on the new Subaru Global platform, is going to have a few new features that the Outback hasn't gotten yet. But as of today is Wednesday, February 6th. Tomorrow they are announcing the 2020 Outback, which should put it on the Subaru Global platform and then take it a step above the Forester. So as of this very day, the Outback is going to be a little bit smoother and comfortable because of the wheelbase, but the Forester has some of the newer features like the driver focus system, auto vehicle hold, and that extra display up top. And so it really comes down to preference. The Outback's smoother, but the Forester is going to have more features and it's a little bit cheaper. And also, I guess, has a little bit more horsepower. So be on the lookout tomorrow at the Chicago Auto Show. I'm going to make a post on my social media, me, you, and Subaru on Instagram, talking about what they revealed. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comment below. And please don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe if you enjoy my content.